It is now the end of May, and this might be a weird analogy, but there's this woodpecker. Every time I hear him, I'm like, huh? Who's and I go find out where he's at. The thing is that he is just nonstop and persistent about pecking away. I look at this woodpecker, I think, you're kind of crazy. I mean, you're obsessed about pecking away. But I made this weird analogy, and that is, the two of us are not that different. I have been pecking away on the keyboard, and the woodpecker has been pecking away on the wood. Well, I can tell you this, one of us got what they wanted. This is a completed 89-page screenplay. Now, it is full summertime out, and Clarence and I have been taking backyard walks. It's kind of become a little bit of our morning routine, and we'll end up hearing this. Right? And we're like, what the heck is this thing? Now, the truth of the matter is, I don't know if it's a he, she, but I want to think it's a he because I want to identify myself in this bird. You know, the two of us, two fellas out there, two artists, you know, pecking away at our craft. Him at a telephone pole, me at my computer keyboard. What a bird, huh? Isn't that an amazing bird? I can't get over it. It's just an amazing bird. So, the most important thing about this is that I've completed the script, and the fact of the matter is I really couldn't move forward on the project without a completed script. The problem is I handed this to my wife, and she's highly qualified to critique and give me edits and feedback on this. So she went to the University of Iowa, which of course is world renowned for their writing workshop. She took a bunch of creative writing classes while she got her journalism degree, and she also has a master's in English education. So aside from tearing apart my awful grammar and spelling, she also pointed out some very critical story issues, which caused me to rework parts of the story. Basically, this is probably going to be a work in progress all the way through our shooting of it. And that's just the way it's going to have to be. You know, with that being said, no more time can be wasted. I have got to get into pre-production, which I am calling the red zone. This is the red zone. The red zone is where you figure out how in the world you're going to take this blueprint and actually produce it. So one of the first things that I started doing was reaching out to actors. And I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that the people I'm reaching out to will want to work on this project. Another thing that I've done is I've printed out all the scenes, right? You can print these out in Final Draft, and basically all of these start to indicate the location, right? Like all the orange is a one location, all the blue is another location. This helps me start to think about, I'm gonna need this location, I need to have it locked down, I need a location release form, which gets me into contracts, including contracts for actors, etc. etc. So I want to take a second to talk about gear. I have a small HD monitor. Specifically, this is the 702 Bright. If you're going to be working outside, you're going to need a sun hood. And the sun hood that I had for it, now keep in mind, this is a $1,000 monitor, right? So this isn't something I'm just going to go out and replace. But the sun hood that it came with is this that clips, it has plastic pieces and it clips onto the side like this, and it leaves your joystick out on the side. Problem is, the dang thing freaking broke. This piece fell off. When I started looking, they don't make that sun hood anymore. In fact, they don't even make this monitor anymore. So the only alternative that Small HD offers now is this newer sun hood that has metal brackets that bolt to the side of the monitor. And then it has the sun hood that has like metal rods that stick into that bracket. Now this is a great sun hood because it's all metal, it's not gonna break. I can only imagine the calls they got with frustrated people from the plastic sun hood, but there's some downsides. It's heavier, number one. The brackets don't actually fit this monitor. They are meant for the newer, bigger monitor. And that leaves a crack when you're looking down into the screen where light can come in. I would prefer not to have that. And then the joystick now is inside the sun hood rather than easily accessible from the outside. I'm not trying to give Small HD a hard time. I mean, they've come up with a solution and they've progressed forward to newer and better things. But to someone like me, I am a micro budget filmmaker. The old monitor, $1,000 plus $100 sun hood, and now it's a $1,500 monitor with a $160 sun hood. And the real headache here isn't necessarily the scrambling around to figure out like, well, why can't I find the sun hood? What's going on? You know, when it's after hours with customer service, so you can't get any direct answers. The real headache, I had to drop $160 like that. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but on a micro budget film, that's food money. I'm probably gonna pay upwards to $1,500 just to feed my actors. So, you know, $200, well, that takes 15 down to 13. I mean, I'm happy that I got this situation resolved, but I kind of wish I never had to have it get resolved. But this is called filmmaking, and this is what filmmakers deal with. So before we go, I want to talk about the mic. I am using a moleskin sandwich right in the crevice of my chest. Now, for us to be able to take a look at this, I'm gonna have to take my shirt off, but I don't feel like we should do that in the danger zone. I think we're gonna have to go back to the regular kind of regular atmosphere. Again, I have been working out. It's a little embarrassing for me because I'm not trying to show off my muscles, but I really want us to be able to see the where the mic is placed. So let me take the shirt off. Okay, so here we go. Again, I'm kind of getting that six-pack back in here. But the mic goes right up here, right into what's called a moleskin sandwich. And a moleskin sandwich is super simple. You can go to any pharmacy or grocery store and buy in the personal aisle this moleskin material. And it has adhesive on the back that peels off, and it's meant to go directly on your skin. And so you could take scissors and start cutting out, you know, the shape of the sandwich that you want to make. And you use a piece to get your mic in there and then peel off the back and apply it directly to the skin. Again, if you want to know more about this, I would get on YouTube and see how people are doing it, because there's a lot of brilliant suggestions on how to do this out there. Now, I'm so muscular and defined that it almost looks like I have magic marker showing the shadows of these big muscles, which I promise you is not the case. These are the real shadows on my chest. But the idea here is that the muscles from your chest help create a cavity so that your shirt isn't rubbing against the capsule. Ultimately, I'm not a huge fan of this method, but this is a method that does work. Okay, so that is the end of the May recap. We have 5 months down and 7 to go.